A subscriber gives you attention for seconds, not days, often fewer than 10 in a busy inbox. The strange part is that your welcome sequence can feel polite and still lose revenue, simply because the timing is late, crowded, or oddly quiet when interest is highest and comparison shopping has already begun. The first question is simple. How fast should the first email arrive after sign up, instantly, in 5 minutes, or after review? The second is harder. Once you send that first message, how do you keep momentum without sounding desperate, robotic, or like a discount bot chasing attention? If your sequence arrives too slowly, curiosity fades, sometimes within a single workday. If it arrives too quickly without a plan, trust drops and unsubscribes rise. Timing is not decoration around the message. Timing decides whether the message lands when the subscriber actually cares, notices, and still remembers opting in. A welcome sequence is the first set of automated emails sent after subscription, usually 3 to 7 messages. Its job is to confirm the sign-up, deliver the promise, shape expectations, and guide the next action before your regular campaign rhythm takes over and before the subscriber forgets why they joined. When timing is strong, 4 things improve together, not just one vanity metric on a dashboard. Open rate, click intent, first purchase readiness, and long-term engagement all get a lift because the subscriber experiences a coherent progression instead of random interruption, mixed signals, or message whiplash. Right after opt-in, your subscriber is not neutral. That person is curious, slightly skeptical, and comparing you against every other brand already in the inbox, often within the same hour. Good timing works because it meets that mental state before it changes into indifference, distraction, or mild buyer resistance. Here is the first loop to resolve. Many marketers hear immediate send and picture spam, pressure, or 5 discounts in a row. But immediate only means the first email arrives when the subscriber expects confirmation, not when your team finally remembers to respond 3 hours later. If someone signs up for a discount, a guide, or a newsletter, there is a promised exchange with a clear mental receipt. The first email should usually arrive within minutes because that is when expectation is sharpest and your credibility is easiest to prove with concrete delivery, not vague reassurance. A first email sent in 5 minutes feels responsive, current, and technically competent. The same email sent 12 hours later often feels disconnected, even if the copy is identical word for word. The difference is not language. It is whether the subscriber still remembers the moment of intent and the context around it. Your first email should confirm the subscription, deliver the promised asset, and set the frame for what comes next, ideally with one obvious action. If you cram in your entire brand story, 3 offers, and 6 links, timing cannot save the confusion or reduce decision friction. Fast is good when the message is expected, useful, singular, and easy to act on immediately. Most teams get email 1 roughly right, at least operationally. The sequence breaks on email 2. They either send it so quickly that it feels redundant, like a duplicate receipt, or wait so long that the narrative resets and the subscriber has to remember why they joined in the first place. For many brands, the second email works best later the same day or on the next day, roughly 6 to 24 hours later. The point is not an exact hour. The point is to continue the story while the first message is still mentally available and before other inbox noise takes over. Subscribers rarely reward volume or effort alone. They reward relevance delivered at the moment. It helps them move to the next decision with less uncertainty and fewer unanswered questions. Think of timing as rung spacing on a ladder. If the rungs are too far apart, climbing stops and hesitation grows. If they are packed together with no change in purpose, the ladder is awkward and tiring. Your cadence must match progression, not your internal calendar or campaign quota. On day 1, you are orienting the subscriber, not squeezing every possible conversion from the session. You show what they sign up for, what kind of emails to expect, and what first action matters most. This is why long delays on day 1 usually underperform, especially in e-commerce and SaaS onboarding. A gap of 24 hours can be healthy after the first email, especially when the second message adds context instead of repeating the offer or coupon. The number matters less than the continuity between messages, because continuity preserves intent while arbitrary spacing often breaks it. Daily emails can work extremely well during a short welcome sequence if each one has a distinct role and measurable reason to exist. 1 delivers. 1 teaches. 1 proves. 1 offers. 1 handles objections. Frequency without role clarity is where daily sends fail, especially by email 4 or 5. If your messages are thin, repetitive, or purely promotional, daily timing magnifies the weakness instead of hiding it. The subscriber does not think, "This brand is consistent." The subscriber thinks, "This brand has run out of useful things to say and is filling the inbox with low-value noise." The timing works best when the sequence follows a clear order instead of random blasts, because order reduces cognitive load and makes each step feel earned. An e-commerce brand with an impulse-friendly product can move faster than a consultant selling a high-ticket service with longer review cycles. A content newsletter may stretch education across days, while a free trial SaaS flow often needs action prompts sooner, sometimes within the first afternoon. If the purchase decision is simple and inexpensive, your sequence can tighten its spacing because the subscriber needs less deliberation and fewer approvals. In that case, waiting too long can hurt more than sending 1 thoughtful email per day, since momentum decays faster than resistance rises. If the decision involves budget approvals, technical evaluation, or personal trust, your spacing often needs more room between key asks. Not silence, but room. The subscriber needs time to process proof, compare options, and bring others into the decision, especially in B2B or premium service categories. This resolves the first loop. There is no universal best schedule because timing follows intent rather than calendar superstition. Your cadence should track how quickly a subscriber can move from interest to confidence, not how many emails another brand sends or what some generic benchmark says. The best performing sequences often feel less like campaigns and more like guided onboarding, with each send removing one small uncertainty. Many teams obsess over the exact send hour, testing 8 a.m. versus 10 a.m. like it decides everything, but the larger win usually comes from matching timing to message purpose. A mediocre schedule with clear sequencing can outperform a perfect send time test attached to weak storytelling, vague positioning, or redundant asks. A delivery email can fire instantly because the promise is immediate. A story-rich trust email can wait until later that day. A product comparison email may land the next day. An urgency email works only after enough context exists to make urgency believable, otherwise it reads like manufactured pressure. A subscriber who clicked the first email is not behaving like one who ignored it, deleted it, or never opened. Timing should adapt when possible. Engaged people can often handle faster progression, while colder subscribers may need wider spacing, simpler asks, and stronger proof before the next step feels reasonable. So how do you avoid sounding desperate while sending quickly? You make every email answer the next natural question the subscriber would ask. When the sequence feels like progress, frequency feels helpful. When it feels repetitive, frequency feels needy, manipulative, and easier to ignore or unsubscribe from. Do not ask, "How many emails can I send this week?" Ask, "What is the next decision I must help this subscriber make with confidence?" First, delaying the first email for operational convenience, like batching sends every few hours. Second, leaving giant gaps after early engagement. Third, stacking several sales emails before enough trust or clarity exists. Most weak welcome flows contain at least one of these, and many contain all three. Send the first email immediately when the subscriber expects something specific, especially a download, code, confirmation, or onboarding step tied to the opt-in moment. Space the next emails according to purpose, not habit or whatever your old calendar happened to use. If the message deepens understanding, send while memory is fresh. If the message asks for commitment, give enough time for the previous email to do its work and reduce resistance. Measure timing by downstream outcomes, not just opens, which can flatter weak sequences. The real signal is whether faster or slower spacing improves clicks, first purchases, trial activation, or movement into your regular lifecycle campaigns over 7, 14, or 30 days. Look at each email in your current welcome sequence and ask one thing. If this email arrived 12 hours earlier or later, would its purpose still make sense to a real subscriber? If not, the timing is doing more work than you admitted, which means the schedule deserves strategy, not guesswork. Build around momentum, not comfort, and let subscriber intent set the pace. Keep testing,